He weighed in at 10 stone, 11 and 1/2 pounds. His record stands at 27 wins, 4 losses, 9 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Introducing Paolo Pizzamiglio. And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, this 12-round vacant title bout. He is wearing blue and white trunks, hailing from Croydon, England. He weighed in at 10 stone, 13 and 1/4 pounds. His record, 17 wins, 1 loss, 14 wins, coming by way of knockout. He is the British light middleweight champion, ranked number 7 in the world by the WBO. Introducing Wayne Alexander the Great.
Massive support here for Alexander.
In charge, Daniel van der Wielen, now to give instructions.
I spoke to both of you in the dressing room. Obey my command at all times. Shake hands. Okay, give the best you can. Thank you.
This title won in the past by Maurice Hope, Harold Graham, Jimmy Cable and Chris Pyatt, the last British boxer to win it 15 years ago. It's often been neglected, the European title, by British promoters lately, with all these synthetic world championships around. But this is one of the old throwback titles. Alexander, the big puncher. Don't go and make a copy now in the blue and white striped trunks. Pizzamiglio, his second bid for this title, having been stopped in 8 by Mamadou Thiam, bull-like fighter in 8 rounds. Thiam's given up the title, it's vacant. These two going for it tonight. Good left hand, feels the power for the first time, Pizzamiglio. Alexander's been sparring for this with Colin Dunn, the top lightweight, and also he's even had heavyweights in there, so a full range of sparring experiences to get him ready for the power and indeed the speed part of his work. Pizzamiglio was Italian champion, a good one too, and made 4 defences. His record is not that of any kind of mug. He's usually got a pretty good jab. And there it is, as if to underline the point. Alexander, who said in the past, I hate runners. I'm not sure Pizzamiglio is going to be that exactly.
No, not really a runner, but this box on the back foot, you can see him leaning away. Alexander will be looking to step in behind his jab.
But he just slipped there, that's not a knockdown. Just lost his footing, Pizzamiglio, who comes from Piacenza. Alexander having some successes with these left hooks. He's naturally heavy-handed. 14 of his 17 wins have come inside schedule. Sometimes there's been the suggestion he might be a bit brittle himself, but he didn't look it that night against Harry Simon when he went in at short notice for the world title. Got beaten in 5, but it was a really good effort, wasn't it, that night?
Yes, that was a good effort from Alexander. I think he's learned from that. And, you know, he's looking good here. Got Pizzamiglio on the back foot.
Putting with the right hand, Pizzamiglio tried to turn him. He's landed with some quite heavy shots in this round. Pizzamiglio's looked a bit disorganised, but he's taken them. He seemed to do a little silly dance once or twice. But the fact is, Alexander hasn't really proved himself above domestic level as yet, and Pizzamiglio hasn't proved himself above good Italian domestic level. But the bookmakers had Alexander a 10-to-1 on favourite this morning. He goes for the left hook, lands with it again. He had Pizzamiglio a little bit all over the place more than once in the opening round. Wayne Alexander, who's been boxing since he was 11, inspired by watching the Hagler-Hearns Classic in 1985.
Yeah, just good pressure there. The left hook right at the end of the round, doing most of the damage for Alexander.
Here's round two. Pizzamiglio looked a shade disorganised in that first round. Now, how much has he got to offer? Can he cope with Alexander's power? It's a bigger question mark now than it was at the beginning. Trying to line up his attacks, Alexander, behind the jab, but you get the feeling all the time that he's bursting to let go with another big hook.
Yes, he is, but it's good. You know, he's trying to be controlled. He's trying to get the rhythm, use that jab, and then just wait for the right opportunity to let the right hand and the left hook go.
It's that left hook again. Pizzamiglio didn't really land flush. Body shot this time from Alexander. The Italian wants to hold on. These are difficult moments for him in these first two rounds. Alexander might be encouraged. He's never been beyond 8 rounds, mind you, in his career, Wayne Alexander. Pizzamiglio, all 4 of his defeats have come by stoppage, which may encourage the big Alexander fan club in attendance here tonight. Works nicely with the jab. He's trying to circle away from that left hook. Alexander hits him with a right to the body. Into the head. Looks a bit open, doesn't he, Pizzamiglio? Gloves down at times.
Yes, he does. He looks a little bit in awe of Alexander. Alexander's hurt him with a couple of these shots, and Alexander just going about his work nicely, just bringing down the guard, you know, working the head and body, just making Pizzamiglio think about it.
Pizzamiglio with only 9 stoppages in his 31 fights. It tells its own story. Comparatively, he's got pea shooter power.
Paolo.
Can't miss with that jab, mind you, can he, the Italian?
Well, that's the biggest problem for Alexander so far, just get on the way of that jab as he tries to line Pizzamiglio up for his own biggest shots.
Just finding the Italian a little awkward. Bit of blood from Alexander's nose from those jabs, but he's round again. Well, he's finding it hard to land cleanly, but he's doing all the work that matters so far. Britain's Wayne Alexander. Now, the referee tonight is an interesting character, Daniel van der Wieler, who was in charge the night that Hasim Rahman knocked out Lennox Lewis in South Africa. Round 3, strike trunks of Croydon's Wayne Alexander, the former builders labourer and ABA champion 8 years ago. Just going southpaw for a moment, Alexander. Interesting. Now he's switching back again. Thought better of it. He has done a bit of switch hitting, I've noticed in the past. I know Jimmy Tibbs' trainer's been very pleased with his preparation for this. He says he's not usually a very good gym fighter, but he's looked good in the build-up to this one. Gets it with the right hand again. Pizzamiglio, tricky, ducking, diving, and getting himself quite cleverly out of trouble. He's making Alexander miss a lot, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Alexander maybe trying just that little bit too hard, just needs to loosen up with his hooks, looking for the big one a bit too much.
And we do have to take Alexander's stamina on trust of it. It's not his fault he's been blasting everybody out early. Maybe Pizzamiglio will be thinking if he can just hang in there for a bit, things may come back to him. He's just presenting one or two style problems here for Alexander. He's having to chase him around the ring. Now he's got him in the corner, but the Italian gets out again.
But he's very much on the run, Pizzamiglio. Alexander just walking forward.
And he slips in exactly the same point. Did somebody spill a cup of tea or something over there earlier on in the night? Have to watch that. Somebody needs to put something on that spot. Pizzamiglio's fallen there twice. He's working okay with the jab in this round, Alexander. Just getting a bit marked up, the Italian's face. Underneath the left eye, notably. And there's blood, remember, from Alexander's nose. Started in the last one. There might be a bit from his mouth as well. Oh, right hand. And this time Pizzamiglio goes down. Big shot. He was up quite quickly, but his legs look very unsteady. There's only a few seconds left in the third round, but it might be enough for Alexander if he can find more shots here. Body, left hook. The bell's coming any moment here. Pizzamiglio survives on instinct alone. A towel was thrown in by the corner, but it came, I think, after the bell. Jimmy Tibbs climbs in the ring. He thinks it's over, or was there a bell in there? Mass confusion. Alexander's corner think they've won the fight, but the bell sounded, and I think it is over. It is stopped. He's got the European title, Wayne Alexander. The referee diving in to stop it. As the bell was sounding somewhere in the din. It was confusing for a moment, but Alexander has the European crown to add to his British title, and the power did the trick yet again.
Well, he did that in style. You know, he just measured him up. He attacked him, you know, nicely behind the jab, found his spot. When he did catch him with a good punch, sent him careening into the ropes and down. Then it was just a matter of time for Alexander. Just picked the punches really well, put the attack on, and Pizzamiglio had to be rescued by the referee. You know, the stoppage had to happen. It was a good knockdown for Alexander. Really did send Pizzamiglio careening into the ropes from this right hand. Look at that. Pitched forward. Yep, excellent shot. Hit the ropes heavily, then just sprung back. And, you know, he really was pitching forward on his
almost like a catapult, wasn't it?
Well, there was a lot of power in that shot. He is a very good puncher. Finally got his timing just right for that punch.
Now this is the real-time finish. It's officially timed. This at 2:59 of the round. Where does the bell sound in all this? Exactly at the moment the referee stopped the fight, which was why there was a bit of confusion. I thought for a moment the referee stepped in because he'd heard the bell and was saying that's the end of the round, but he was stopping the fight. Pizzamiglio didn't make it through, and Wayne Alexander gets the victory. Pizzamiglio, he was awkward, but in all honesty, he never looked like he was going to cope, did he?
No, he didn't really. All he had was the jab. That wasn't enough to keep someone like Wayne Alexander off. Alexander saw the moment really to launch his attack. He did it in good style. The referee really didn't have an option but to call it off at that point, which was, you know, just really a split second as the bell went.
Well, he's had some tough times in his life, Wayne Alexander, including 3 attacks of shingles that kept him out of the ring. He's got over all those problems now, and his career ever upwardly mobile at this point, and some exciting opportunities may well be coming his way.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 2 minutes, 59 seconds in round number 3. Our referee in charge, Daniel Vanderwiel, stops the contest. The winner by way of technical knockout. He is the new European light middleweight champion, Wayne Alexander the Great.
Very, very popular winner. Wayne Alexander is on the map. Barry, just to remind everybody, Johnny Tapia still to come later on, but Wayne Alexander has always dreamt about appearing with the big names. Is this his passport?
I think so. This is a stepping stone for him. This is a very good... He's gone back to the old ways we talked about. Ian and Glenn talked about winning the British and the European, and now going back to the world title. He's going towards that. Obviously, there's a way to go yet. He's got to try and clear up the light middleweights in this country as well, but he's well on his way, and that's a terrific performance.
Just about a year ago, it all seemed to be going wrong against the world-rated WBO world champion Harry Simon. Wayne was brave in defeat that time. This is his moment of triumph. Let's hear from him.
Wayne Alexander, you won the British title in a thunderous 3-round brawl with Paul Samuels. Now you win the European title with a terrific right hand in the 3rd round. Lucky for you, eh?
Yeah, he was tougher than what I thought. He had a hard, stiff jab. That surprised me a little bit, but once I got warmed up, I knew I was going to stop him.
But you were using your jab tonight for the first time really well.
Well, I can jab. I've told everybody I can jab. Jimmy Tibbs has told me how to jab. You know, I've been jabbing since I was an amateur. You know, and now I'm doing it in the ring.
It looked to me that you just needed to catch up with him. He was awkward and tricky, but once you landed, well, the power says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, I knew he'd be on the back foot. I knew he tried to outbox me, but like I said, I'm too strong for all the light middleweights in Europe. You know, all the other boys in Britain, they're good fighters, but they're not ready for me. I'm looking at bigger things. I'm looking to fight Oscar De La Hoya, Fernando Vargas, or Winky Wright.
You really believe that sort of this year you're ready for a top name like a De La Hoya or a Vargas?
Yeah, definitely. A defence of the European on the continent, and then I'll fight any of the big boys. Frank's the man, the best manager and the best promoter in the world. He can get it on.
Well, let's ask Frank. De La Hoya, Vargas, May the 4th. Would you put Wayne in against them, or would you like to see him against a Richard Williams again, more of a domestic level fighter?
I think Wayne comes out fighting better fighters, but De La Hoya first of all has got to fight Vargas, and then subject to certain agreements being made, he's got to make his mandatory against Karmazin, and at the moment that's all up in the air, so who knows what's going to happen. But certainly by the end of the year I'd like to see Wayne in one of those big fights, but that is what is happening, that we can't alter. Regarding the other guys, you know, that's up to Wayne. We've got to sit down and talk about it. I'd like to see him all fight. I mean, he's a tremendous puncher, you know that. Once he got going in the 3rd round, once he started throwing his jab, he settled down, he got his rhythm, and you could see that he was going to catch the guy with the right hand. So he did everything you could have asked him tonight. He's an exciting fighter.
Exciting new year ahead. Well done, Wayne, and our only European champion. Congratulations.
Big thanks to my sparring partners, Colin Dunn, Terry Dixon and Brett James.
Thanks a lot. Cheers, Wayne.